Kid Fam. This tutorial is all about freehand motions and different exercises you can do to build muscle memory and confidence for your line work. The easiest way to draw a straight line is to place your pencil on the paper with your hand resting on it, lock your hand position, and slide your whole arm up to the right 45 degrees. Do this motion quickly and with slightly different angles using the same starting point. Draw points in between these lines and aim to cut the slices in half. Take your time touching the pencil to the starting point, but move with speed once you place it down. Cut the slices in half until they're really small and the top right quadrant is full. Turn your paper and do it again. Do this every time before you go to make any art to get into the flow, and it will help you get daily muscle memory. Place dots further away from the starting point and try and hit the target. Place multiple dots to try and hit them in a row. Draw two dots 12 inches apart and see if you can hit the target. It's important to retry the line immediately after you miss so you can make the adjustment in your hand movement. You'll find it easier to hit the target if you throw your lines in succession rather than waiting to try again. We have an amazing ability to cut lines in half without using a ruler to measure. To demonstrate, I measured the initial 12-inch distance, but I removed the ruler to cut the line in half with my eye. Pretty close. Try this exercise on a blank page for more accuracy. Cut the line segment in half and in half again. Use this technique to create equal spacing without a ruler. Cutting distances in half is a useful tool you can use all the time. Let's try the resting hand position. Draw two dots a few inches apart and connect them with a straight line, using the ball of your hand as your pivot point on the paper. Get a feel for how long of a line you can draw without sliding your hand. Commit to moving your hand with speed even if you miss the mark. This will train your hand muscles to move with confidence. Try different angles and extending a straight line by moving your hand over. Cut the slice in half with the resting hand. Try using your hand like a compass, pivoting on the ball of your hand and using different lengths of the pencil to create arcs. Add small increments to draw partial hexagons in the arc. Let's try ellipses with the sliding hand. Once you touch the paper, lock your hand position and move your arm in an oval. Try to connect the pencil mark end to end using a swift motion. You'll be surprised at the accuracy you can develop by doing this practice. Do 3 ellipses in a row, getting smaller as you go and connecting the starting point of each ellipse. Now let's try ellipses with the floating hand. Hold your pencil perpendicular to the page and trust your arm to make an oval shape that connects at the starting point. It took 8 tries, but I got it. It only gets better the more you do it. Now we can make a cone by freehanding 2 straight lines and putting ellipses inside of them. Try and make the ends of the ellipse touch the straight lines as you shrink them downward. Add more straight lines to support the illusion. Add ellipses inside the cone. Experiment with thick and thin ellipses to see how it changes the perspective. Notice how you can make your ellipses into more of a circle shape. This next exercise is all about finding the flow when drawing ellipses. Use a floating hand and create multiple ellipses inside of each other. Do this in every direction and every size. Try a rounded triangle shape. You'll be able to do this with just about any shape. Let's draw a blimp using curved lines to perceive volume. Start with an oval and a circle on one side using a sliding hand. Draw partial ellipses following the oval. Cross your lines with slight curves from either end of the blimp. Draw more ellipses to create square-shaped panels. Draw short curved lines from the circle to the oval. You can add curved lines similar to how we created the blimp on different forms. This shape reminds me of a lava lamp bubble. Draw circles on each end. Add partial ellipses until they meet in the center. Connect the circles with curved lines. Add short curved lines from the circle to the bubble. Let's draw a tear shape with the sliding hand. Start with the vertical line and add an ellipse on top. Connect the ellipse to the bottom of the line with mandala-like curves. Add ellipses inside. Add curved lines. This reminds me of a hot air balloon. Let's draw 3D arrows with a sliding hand. Draw two partial ellipses that are the same size and 1 inch apart. Connect the ends of the lines and the turning point to create a rectangle that's bending. Add a triangle on one end. Use a resting hand for the short line and add a thin edge using your hand more as a compass. It's easier to do a big freehand curve first, then follow it with a resting hand and add a little sliding hand here and there. Erase the extra lines so the arrow isn't see-through. Re-outline the edges. This time we'll start with 2 equal length vertical lines and connect them with sliding hand curves. Connect the turning point. Add a thin edge to make this panel 3D. Draw a curved line following the inside of the curve next to it with a resting hand. Notice how these lines are parallel to help the illusion. Add another curved line on bottom. Erase the extra line so it's not see-through. Outline the edges. Creating 2 equal curves that are the same length is a great way to build consistency. This time I will add the thin edge to the outside of the curve and build from there. In this next exercise, we will draw an S with the floating hand and start to turn the S slightly every time, aiming for the same point of intersection. This helps build accuracy as well as familiarize your hand with every direction your hand can go. Draw 2 partial ellipses with the same starting point and one slightly bigger. Add small curves between the partial ellipses. I added a drop on the end, kind of like a water slide. Add a vanishing line under the first curve with short curved lines in between. This is an imaginary shape I made up that reminds me of a king cobra snake. Add extra curves to support the illusion. Draw two partial ellipses that start close together and end further apart. Connect the ends. This line points towards the center of the shape, and from the center point, you will send lines with a sliding hand to create curved panels between partial ellipses. Pull short downward lines from the surface to create a thin edge. Erase extra lines. Add downward lines to your edge. Draw two partial ellipses to start that are close together and end further apart. Draw ellipses between the lines. This is forming a curved cylinder going into the distance. Add another curved line so you can wrap your partial ellipses around it, making it more of a tube. Notice how the ellipses turn through the tube and their center dots follow each other. Draw multiple partial ellipses. Then draw line segments in between the curves with slight changes in their angles. You will start to feel a rhythm here that can lead to other types of patterns and shapes. Eventually, you will only need a couple lines to guide you, and you can start to leave the training wheels behind. Draw 3 curved lines with the same starting point using a sliding hand. Draw a square panel within the lines. Add hidden panels staying within the lines. This time, draw hidden panels with 4 guidelines, one for every corner. Creating panels this way is a fun and easy pattern I do all the time. Once you have a pattern, try and draw it bigger using freehand motions. Practice drawing a series of line segments between the two lines that tilt slightly as they follow the curve. Then draw the next series of line segments knowing the end shape. This will speed up the process and open the door for new patterns with different angles and increments. These patterns are found in Maori and Polynesian tattoos and symbolize abundance, prosperity, protection, and rhythm of life. Let's modify this technique and add extra guidelines. The more guidelines, the more you can alter the shape. Start with one line that bends at every guideline, then draw one segment in a series with a slight tilt following the curve. Draw the second segment in a series and use different tilts to change the shape. Sliding hand helps you create quickly and smoothly and adds a more organic way of thinking in motions. Add a thin edge to make your pattern pop. This next pattern starts with a small ellipse. Draw another ellipse around it, making sure that they are close together on the long side and further apart at the turning point. As the ellipses get bigger, let your hand slide. This spacing pattern comes from mimicking woodgrain and is really important for creating your own details, shapes, and flow lines. Drawing this with imperfect sharp edges will make it look like woodgrain. Drawing woodgrain patterns is a great way to learn new ways to warp your line work. Start with the basics and begin to add fluctuations in your hand movement, finding motions that feel good and come close together, then far apart. You can create these patterns by imagining the guidelines from the last exercise and thinking in line direction changes in different increments, expanding or shrinking along the way. Here's my imaginary grid. This next pattern starts as a partial panel. Add slight curves to every line segment, trusting the sliding hand to create even spacing. Draw 3 arcs one way and 3 or more arcs across them to create warped panels. Outline a panel and a downward edge. When your hand is warmed up, you'll be able to switch between hand positions without thinking. Do this again, but this time draw upward edges. Throwing lines when you need to follow a curve speeds up the process. With this basic grid, you can build a lot of geometry and focus on placement. Add a thin panel on top of the thin box. The first 2 years I made art was all about learning how to control my hand. I believe if I watched this video, I would have understood how to be efficient with my line work within 1 to 2 weeks. It's all about muscle memory. Practicing on big paper helps you tap into the freehand flow. Draw your freehand ideas with the resting hand to shrink your designs into small details. Thanks for learning with me, and I'll see you in the next video.